Good evening. It is later today. I don't know which video you watched last, but this should be the next video after the last one I posted. Well, actually, it's guaranteed to be the next video after the last one I posted, but if I posted them in order, the video you watched last is what happened earlier today before this. Does that make sense? I don't think that makes sense, but we're going to go with it. But anyway, what we got is a 2019 Toyota Tacoma that I guess something happened with transmission, like it got shifted into park while it was still moving, and now it won't move at all. So it is way out in the Ochoco National Forest near the Bandit Springs trailhead. It's where people go hiking and mountain biking and all that stuff, but it is way out in the middle of nowhere. So I guess this guy ended up walking a few miles up the mountain where he got phone service and called me, gave me some rough directions on a meeting point, and then he's going to walk back down to the truck. It's going to take me about an hour and a half to drive out there, and then he's going to hike back up in a time we're kind of guessing should end up about right, and I should be able to meet him somewhere out by the main road. He hops in with me and then shows me how to get to his truck out there in the middle of the woods. Then we got to hook onto it and tow it out of the woods and back to his house. So that's the plan anyway, and it's really dependent on us meeting up at that right point at the right time. So it's probably going to be a long night. But first, diesel, because we've always got to get diesel. And if you watch my last video, you'll know that I already got diesel once before today. But what you don't know is I also got diesel once before that. And when we get done with this big long trip from way out in those mountains over there to on the other side of that mountain over there, before I go home, I'm going to fill up again. That's going to be 4 fuel stops in one day. I'm really good at getting diesel. So as I'm sure you saw in that video, and you are seeing in this one right now, it's starting to get dark outside. Meaning it's going to be well into dark by the time we get to these people, about another hour out from here. So our little meetup on this backwoods road at a certain time, he's on foot, I'm going to meet him in the truck. It's going to happen in the dark. So hopefully it still happens. So if you're wondering why this whole meetup thing is such a big ordeal, it's because these guys broke down way down in the bottom of a canyon where there's no service. The owner of the truck, he hiked up a ridge where he finally got a spot of service and was able to call me. And I was in town coming back from that earlier job, so obviously I had service to take the call. But we worked out kind of where the truck was. He couldn't explain exactly where it was, but he was able to explain a meetup point that I know roughly where it's at. So we figured about how long it would take me to get there, which is about a couple hours, hour and a half, 2 hours. So he hiked back down to his truck to get back in it and stay warm, because it's got to be fairly cold up there in the mountains where they are. And then he's going to figure about how long it's going to take him to hike back out to that meetup point and take off. And hopefully he is back to that meetup point by the time I get there in this truck. And hopefully we're both talking about the same point. He was explaining from memory. I was looking at Google Maps on my end, and we think we're talking about the same place, but there's no service there. And by the time I'm even remotely close to these guys, I won't have service either. So we have no communication at all once we got off the phone and he started hiking back down the canyon to get back in the truck. So this is going to be kind of a needle in the haystack of finding this guy in the dark out here, on foot, in the middle of a couple million acres of national forest. But I think we're both talking about the same spot, and it should work out. I hope it does. This little farm over there, ranch houses and barns, is about the last bit of civilization for a while. This fork here to the right continues on out through this canyon. This fork here to the left, where we're going to go, heads up into the mountains. Okay, we've been cruising through the woods here for quite a while now, and right up here somewhere off to the left side should be a road. Should be about the only paved road that branches off of this highway here. I think I see a sign over here. Yes. So we're going to take this road and head up the mountain a ways. Yes, lucky strike. That is what we're looking for. So we're going to head up the mountain a ways here, turn off on another road, head out that road about a mile, and we should find a man standing in the woods in the dark. Okay, we are up on the very top of the ridge, and the next left dirt road we get to is the one I thought we were both talking about. Hopefully I'm correct, and when we get to it right up here, there's a man standing there. And hopefully it's the man we're looking for, because if not, it's going to be super scary. Here's the end of the pavement, and here's our guy with the signal fire and all. All right. Okay, so we just drove, I don't know, probably 30 minutes down this dirt road down in the canyon and found their truck, so we're gonna see what we can do with it. Okay, we're gonna back into the woods here, which might be a bad idea. That's how we're gonna turn around. So we plugged the scanner into this truck, and its problem is not anything to do with it getting shoved in park and the transmission getting all screwed up. The problem is key fob died, and this push button start truck will not recognize anything but its own key fob. And that bike right there is that guy's bike. He rode it that half hour up the road. It's probably a lot longer for him to meet up with me. So now we got his bike in the back of the truck. Alright, we made it back to town here at the guy's house. I plugged my scanner into it there, and it said that it lost connection with the key fob. It had nothing to do with the transmission at all, so, well, hopefully. So he's going to go grab his other key fob and see if it fires it up. And if it does, we're going to leave it here. And if it doesn't, we're going to tow it back to the Toyota dealer, because it also had a code saying no signal from the brake pedal, which will also let it not start since it's a push button start. So he's going to grab his fob. We're going to try that one and see what happens. So the other key fob didn't work. It's still saying no connection to the key fob, and it's also still saying that no reading from the brake switch. So that's probably what's not letting it start up, and I don't think it has anything to do with the shifter getting jammed in park while it was moving, or that's a problem they're going to find out later. Check out this nice fancy like production lighting. But that also means this adventure isn't over. Now we have to tow it back to the dealership in Bend. We're in Redmond now, so we got to head to Bend to the dealership and get it dropped off there. We are here at the Toyota dealer, so we will run out back here and find a place to dump this thing off. Hopefully somewhere easy, because it's really late and I'm really tired. Is it centered? No. Do I care? Also no. Let's get out of here. Can't forget the key. It doesn't work. That's the whole reason we are dropping it off here. It goes in there. Get in there. Pin back. Oh. All right. Now we can get out of here. Let's go home. It is 1:30 in the morning. We got about a half-hour drive to get home, so 2 o'clock in the morning I'll be home. I have to get up with my daughter at 6. Cool. We are pulling back in the driveway. It is almost dead on 2 o'clock now. That went really good for as bad as it could have gone, with trying to meet up in random places in the middle of the woods when none of us had any communication and all that. Everything actually went really according to plan. It was just a long way deep out in the Ochoco woods. But we got him out of there, we got him home, we got his truck to the dealership. Now we're home. I mean me and you, because there's no one else here. But anyway, it's 2 in the morning. I'm finally home. I'm going to bed. Good night.